Sandy Says Read, and we're going to do just a little piece of the preparing the Booktube scenes tag because I wanted to mention a series, a classics series, to go with prompt number 6. Now, we talked about prompt number 6 in the main tag, of course, as we would do, but I wanted to dive a little bit into a series of books that are not necessarily following one another in story and structure, but something that folks out there might resonate with. Let's dive into this for a second. Okay, so prompt number 6 was, when you read a duology versus a trilogy versus a series, do you post one long video about the whole work or break it into individual books? Okay, do you break it into like an individual book review for each book in the trilogy or for each book of the duology? Now, back when Rachel Gillig released One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns, I read One Dark Window first. And then, as one would do, I then read Two Twisted Crowns. And so I brought to the audience each of those books in turn. I didn't combine them and do one big review of both. I broke them into 2. And I did that for the clock reading challenge, the number 1 and the number 2 in the clock reading challenge. There was a method to that madness. Makes perfect sense, right? But there are other ways to do that. I could have combined the 2 and done a review of both books as the duology. That is also a valid thing. So I'm asking you guys out there, how you do it, why you do it the way you do for your audience. Okay, share with the class. Now, when it comes to classics, I have recently read The Warden by Anthony Trollope. I read this because I wanted to get into the Barsetshire Chronicles. I wanted to read all of them. I'm still missing one book in the series. I need to get it in here. I'm not in any big hurry. These are dense stories. There's a lot of exposition and explanation. There's a lot of satire to understand and get through. Okay, Anthony Trollope was a deep writer. And so there's a lot to understand and to talk about when I bring the books to you guys on the channel. The review I did of The Warden is about an hour long. It's like almost an hour. Okay. So it's not and it's not a very long story. How many pages was it? Hold on, guys. I can tell you where it ended. At this pink mark right here. Hold, please. Oh, for Pete's sake. So it ends on page 169. It's not a long story. And yet there was enough to talk about that entire video took almost an hour to do. All right. That's a dense story going on right there. So if I were to read the entire Barsetshire Chronicles, which is 6 books, okay, I only have 4 of them in my hand. If I were to read all of the books in the series and then come to you and talk to you about all of the stories, can you imagine how long that video would be? Can you imagine how sore your butt would be sitting there watching that video? You would have to do chores around your house while you listened, obviously. Okay, so that's kind of the method behind the madness when I'm preparing videos on book reviews, when I'm deciding, okay, am I going to split this up into individual book reviews, or am I going to review the whole series together? When I did the Illuminate files, and I talked about this in the main video, when I reviewed the Illuminate files for y'all here at the channel, I reviewed all 3 books together. And I did all 3 books together because I shortened up the discussion of the Illuminate files book and the Gemina book. I shortened those up because everyone else on Booktube was discussing them quite in depth. And I was able to say to the audience, hey, everyone's talking about this book. Everyone's talking about this book already. So let's just do a quick summary of it. Let's do a quick summary of this one. I was able to discuss those first 2 books pretty quickly. Then I did a much deeper dive on Obsidio, the 3rd book in the series. I was able to do that. And I felt comfortable doing that because not as many people out here on Booktube were talking about Obsidio at the time I was talking about it. So I felt comfortable going more in depth with that one. So there was a method behind that madness too. There was a method to combining all 3 books even though they're pretty long books, there was a method behind combining all three of them into one video for the audience. I'm letting you numb your butt while you sat there listening to it. Okay. You guys, that's all for, breaking out prompt number 6 and talking about, the duology versus the trilogy versus the series. I would like to hear what you guys think. You can give me your comments below. You can do a response video to this. You can go to the main video, which I will link. You guys can go to the main video and do the whole full tag if you wish. But I want to thank you for tuning in. Thumbs up for talking about books.